I just feel like I don't have it in me to convince anybody to like me, love me, or be there for me. At the end of the day, if I have to convince someone to consider me, then I'll always have to do that. I don't want to beg people to choose me, to pick me, and to love me. I feel like life is already draining enough. Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is SSG, and the title of this video is Having Friends is Overrated. And without further ado, let's get into it. When I think of the word friend, I often associate it with something temporary. And why would anybody want that, right? Most friends I've had in the past are people that I have had to convince of my worth or value, and it was painful to have to go through that. I'm not saying that all my experiences were bad. I'm just saying that all my friends didn't intrinsically love me. Hell, they didn't even like me. Not really, anyway. If you can relate to my experience, then I'm happy to inform you that you found your people and you are in the right place. So feel free, kick back while we dive further into this subject matter. Having friends that walk away the moment something becomes uncomfortable is a very painful feeling indeed. These types of people will turn their backs on you the moment you go through a rough patch. And I feel like that's just most people these days. A lot of people have had experiences where they had to go through some turbulence in their personal lives and their friends immediately abandoned them. It's almost too common. These people often go through a period of isolation after they have been abandoned by their friends. This isolation period means that they are winning, in my book anyway. When I personally experienced this isolation, I noticed a lot of things, as one tends to do when isolated. I realized that most people and most of my friends were never really in my corner. I mean, sure, when it was convenient, they all flocked around me and feigned admiration just to get stuff out of me. But they never really had my back. This betrayal became more evident as time went by, and one day I had reached a tipping point. We mutually agreed to part ways, and that was that. To anyone out there who is currently going through this, I just want you to know that you are not alone. Many people are in the exact same spot as you. In fact, this could be the best thing that has ever happened to you, and I'll tell you why. Cutting off these fake vultures from your life is the best thing that will ever happen to you because of one simple fact. Most people are very insecure, but they won't tell you that. The smarter you become, the more people are going to feel intimidated by you. The more handsome or pretty you become, the more people are going to hate you. Most of your so-called friends are jealous of you, and none of it is your fault. They are just intimidated, but they will never ever tell you. The messed up part is that your friends will keep bringing negativity into your life and they will act like you deserve it, when in reality they are just envious of you. Cutting ties with these evil people is like setting yourself free from bondage. It's like a catapult that shoots you into the next phase of your life. This is the best way to reinvent yourself in my book. Most people go through their whole lives never really evaluating their inner circle, and this keeps them in a toxic bubble. The more people you have in your life, the more problems you have, the more distracted you are, the more drama there is to deal with. It's just a never-ending cycle of negativity. If you ask me, it's much better to have a few like-minded people in your corner than a bunch of fake friends who couldn't care less about you, or who are always pretending to care. Another messed up fact is that most people are only friends with other people because they bonded over a bad habit, stuff like drinking, smoking, and gambling. Outside of these bad habits, most people wouldn't even talk to each other. Outside of these bad habits, most people wouldn't even hang out with their so-called friends. Some people have their gossip friends, they are partying friends, or they are smoking buddies. These are friends that perpetuate and keep you doing these bad habits. That in itself is grounds to cut them off. Another excruciatingly cruel fact about friendships is that most friendships are one-sided. This could be because one person is making themselves way too available for another person, or there's just a lack of boundaries. This can make for a very toxic relationship. The fact about human nature is anything that's too available, anything that's in surplus, people tend to take for granted. Typically, friends who take you for granted are not well-meaning, and they will leave you with deep emotional scars if you keep being their friend. We already live in a very selfish generation. People are already shady and weird, and trust me when I say this, you don't want to have a one-sided relationship with anyone in 2024 going into 2025. It's just a huge waste of your precious time and energy. Another fun fact about having friends is that we tend to lose that attachment we have to ourselves. When you are a part of a friend group, you tend to think as a group. This means that your friends will make impressions on you, influence you, and you will also do the same to them. This is why it's important that you find those ride or die relationships, which is kind of rare. But you need to find people who have good intentions for you, because being influenced by people who hate your guts is not an experience I would wish on anyone. Trust me, I'm still recovering from all the trauma bonding. It is quite brutal. One solution I can give you is to put people into boxes. If they are your party friends, put them in a box. If they are your smoker friends, put them in a box. If they are your gym friends, put them into another box. This way, you don't lose track of reality. This solution is temporary, as the best way to be free from all the clutches of fake friends is to simply cut them off. You need to be sure of why you're cutting your friends off though, and make sure it's not because of any petty reasons. If they genuinely make you feel worse every time you hang out with them, then they definitely need to go. This is how you take back your power and your energy. Another reasonable way to know if you need to cut off your friends is if you have way too many friends. This is a no-brainer. A friend to everyone is a friend to none. You don't need a large friendship group, guys. This is not kindergarten. One thing you need to know about having a lot of friends, especially as a guy, is that it can become really dangerous really fast. Nobody taught me this lesson, and I had to learn it on my own. Having way too many friends in general is very risky. If everyone in that friendship group makes a pact to hate you or take you out, then you might really lose your life. And this is where things get dark. You need to know that having a lot of friends is riskier than you think. I can't even begin to count the amount of true crime stories I've read or watched which involves friends taking out another friend, or just singling out one person that they bullied until they ended up, killing in that person. Please be careful out there. I don't know who needs to hear this, but please start cutting people off, especially if you have way too many people. When I started to level up, most of my so-called friends started to distance themselves from me. This was painful, if I'm keeping it real with you guys, but I never let it get me down. I found that having allies is way better than having friends. You need to have allies. Allies are the people that are going to advocate for you. People that will mention your name in a room full of opportunity. You and your ally have mutual respect for each other. Your allies are always going to challenge you and make you level up. Having allies is the next best thing to friends. Allies are way better than friends. An ally will support you publicly because it helps their business. An ally will always rally to your side because you have an agreement. Guys, hear me out. Allies are just friends on steroids, and you need to find some in your life. Trust me, allies are the way to go. In our day and age, loneliness is a very important factor to consider. Most people are experiencing crippling bouts of loneliness, and this can make them do things that they wouldn't normally do. However, one shouldn't keep friends for keeping sake. You should always tend to your circle and cut people off if you feel like they aren't adding to you in any way. It's okay to break free from toxicity and never look back. It's hard to stop watering dead plants, but also important to acknowledge the frustrating and tiresome relationship that you are keeping alive with this person. When you know a relationship is going nowhere, it's okay to let it die. And I don't know, maybe you are making room for something better to come into your life. Because when you hold space for these dead relationships, you are kind of stifling and closing yourself off. I guess this is where I end the video, guys. If you stay with me until the end of this video, I appreciate you so much, and don't forget to like and subscribe as this helps my channel grow. As always, peace, and more peace. I am SSG. See you on the next one, guys. Thanks.